Warrior, so glad to have you in this video where I'm going to be discussing the 10-second window of opportunity that will eventually lead to your desensitization from the things in your internal world, your symptoms, and the sensitization you experience from the things in the outside world. I'm going to go step by step in this video, so let's put on our thinking caps. Let's ignore the squeakiness of this chair that I'm sitting on. Dennis, stop rocking. And let's move forward in a very positive direction, my friends. Now, let's understand you for a moment, shall we? You're going about your day, and all of a sudden, you either recognize consciously or unconsciously external stimuli, things in the outside world that are related to past experiences, past emotional traumas. Now, you can be highly sensitized simply by looking at a painting or grass or goalposts, bushes, a blonde. It could be a very similar situation to what you may have experienced back in the day that caused you to react very anxiously and emotionally and impulsively. Or something is going to happen later on in the day, and all of a sudden your imagination starts to run wild. It is ignited based around the catastrophic possibility that may arise when you put yourself in that situation. The meeting, the date, leaving your bedroom. The imagination runs wild. That is enough to begin the process of sensitizing someone from pretty much everything. Now, after that initial reaction and realization, the reptilian or survival brain is jolted. Now, your survival is at risk. Now, all of a sudden, this initial jolt or curiosity arises. And it doesn't even have to be based around your physical survival. You could have this initial jolt based on criticism from someone, based on a threat to your social status. Now, let's understand anxiety sufferers at a deeper level. At this point, an anxiety sufferer is coming face to face with the possibility of losing control. And sensitization, symptoms of anxiety, catastrophic and reflexive thoughts are all based around a sufferer's need to have a deep sense of control over every aspect of their lives. If I have a sensation or a feeling that doesn't feel right, I will do everything in my power, speaking in terms of an anxiety sufferer, to control that situation, to run from that current event or whatever it may be. So control, the need for control that leads to something that is so familiar, is such a weakness in so many ways. And it's very much based around delusional thinking, because so much of the good times in your life were based around these moments where you didn't have control, where you didn't have such certainty and familiarity. Don't you remember walking up to that beautiful girl at the bar? There was nothing certain there. You were just going with the moment. You were basing that decision on your intuitiveness. Nothing was certain, and yet it was exciting. And so, I want you to understand that this need for control is the very thing that is holding you back from experiencing life at a deeper level and to finally interpret things in the outside world at the level you must begin to interpret them at, not seeing them worse than what they are. Now, the external stimuli has been recognized. The reptilian brain has been jolted. It's a threat. all of a sudden now, depending on the story that you tell yourself, depending on the perception and the action that you take, the limbic system or the emotional brain will become highly attached to that initial stimuli, to that imagination, or it may become detached. This is where the magic lies. The initial jolt isn't the problem. It's the add-ons that's the problem. It's the emotional consequence based around the reflexive thinking as to what may happen that is the biggest problem. It's not the initial jolt. Now, this is the 10-second window of opportunity. I call it the window of opportunity. Within these 10 seconds of the initial jolt and what you think and do, you will begin to change your brain's internal model of the situation, of the experience, my friends. It will change. You will literally change your brain. How? Opposing physiological response, meaning, what does my system, my reptilian response want me to do? Well, it wants me to run. It wants me to hyperventilate. It wants me to see things as a much bigger threat than what they actually are. So if I take an opposing physiological response, I do something different that opposes the physical response that I'm currently feeling, I will do something magical. The magical thing is I will create safety based around this current experience. That is the key. It's like taking a 6-year-old to go swimming. Want to go swimming, son? No, Daddy, it's too scary. Don't you remember I almost drowned last time? Are you crazy? No, we gotta go swimming. We gotta go. It's good for you. But Daddy, and so on. There's conflict there. You're not getting along. But if the 6-year-old wants to go swimming, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation where you can either comfort the 6-year-old or you can react impulsively based around his past memory, you are now adding to the stress that that kid is experiencing. So, first thing, within that 10-second window of opportunity is do something that opposes the impulsive physiological response. Then, oppose the current perspective. It's not this way, it's this way. It's this way. I've been seeing it in this manner for so long that's been hurting me. Question: how do you need to perceive the current situation to make yourself feel more neutral emotionally in that moment? Take that perspective. So again, we're opposing the initial jolt physiologically through our body. We're opposing it through our perspective. We're opposing it through the potential outcome, what may happen. So instead of the catastrophic response, like I might die or, the worst situation's going to happen, no. Oppose that with a potential outcome that makes more sense. You are alive. So how much evidence do you actually have to prove the fact that this panic attack or these symptoms of anxiety or these people will laugh at you is actually going to occur? You don't have the evidence, but that doesn't mean anxiety sufferers don't jump to conclusions much faster than they move towards the real facts of the situation. This is where the magic lies, my friends. I'm excited. If you can absorb what I'm telling you right now in this moment, it's game over. Now, focus is slowly transferred over in that moment to the part of your brain called the neocortex. Now, all of a sudden, you begin thinking and you stop remembering. You stop remembering Because the very reason why people panic and have anxiety is because they are not thinking through the situation, they are reacting based around memory. Okay? So they're becoming very impulsive and reactive. Now, when you start to oppose these things, like I've talked about in that 10-second window, it's not going to be easy at first, but with practice, you will get much, much better at this, I promise you. Now you will engage in thinking. When you engage in thinking, you are moving away from your perceived anxious identity, my friends. Thinking holds the key to the transition towards the person you want to become. So now the neocortex is engaged. What happens next? Associations get strengthened and they get changed a little bit. Now, these associations, the redhead that bullied me back in my school days, now all of a sudden, redheads are safe. Now all of a sudden, me speaking in front of people, giving a presentation is fun, enjoyable, an opportunity for me to rise up from the thoughts that are going through in my head that may lead to a catastrophic ending. Every anxious moment is an opportunity to practice something new. That newness holds the key to your desensitization. So please understand this video at a deep level, my friends. Grasp the concepts and begin through baby steps to apply what I'm talking about today. I love you all so very much. You are more than anxiety. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions on the End the Anxiety program, head over to anxietyexit.com. I love you all.